the absolute lung beat out of him every week. He was just getting hammered up and down the field. Now he has some time to let his body heal up, get his knee right.
Carson Palmer with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. Coach Zach Taylor said Burrow will have season-ending surgery, and the team expects him to be ready for the 2021 season. At least 4 positive COVID-19 tests within the Ravens organization, including running backs Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins, have led to the team closing down its facility. A source told ESPN's Chris Mortensen the status of Thursday's game against the Steelers has not changed. Notre Dame starting center Jarrett Patterson will miss the rest of the season following foot surgery. Sophomore Zeke Cornell is set to start at center for the second-ranked Fighting Irish on Friday at North Carolina.
With thousands of locally owned Napa stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, they do too. So whether you stop by a local Napa Auto Parts store, Napa Auto Care Center, or visit Napa online, you can count on Napa know-how.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Monday after a trifecta. Calic High wins, LSU wins, Saints win. AFR from home, and it took all of 10 seconds for my kid to jump in here. Hope y'all are all right, buddy. Thank you. It's glad to have you all aboard with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Former state linebacker Scott Shanley will be with us. He's all right. 1 hour from right now. And we will also go up to Cincinnati later this hour. All right, buddy. We'll go up to Cincinnati later this hour. If you've not heard the breaking news, the unfortunate news involving former LSU quarterback Joe Burrow, torn ACL, torn MCL, plus structural damage to his knee. So that is all just massively disappointing. But no doubt Joe will come back, man. So we'll talk to our friend Brandon Seho, who spent part of his career at WBRZ here in Baton Rouge and is from Cincinnati. So he's back home covering the Bengals now in Cincinnati. And we'll talk to Brandon coming up later this hour, the latest on all the Burrow news. I know there are plenty of you who are just aching for my take on Taysom Hill, and I will give it to you in the next segment. Let's just go chronologically like we normally do. We'll go LSU, then we'll go Saints. Tigers win 27-24 against Arkansas on Saturday, and with LSU off to a 2-3 start, and let's just be honest, not many realistic opportunities ahead for wins. When you look at a 2-touchdown underdog this weekend against Texas A&M, you got Florida ahead, very likely Alabama next weekend, then Florida the 12th, and then potentially Ole Miss on the 19th. LSU had to get this win. They just had to. They had to find a way, and this was a tough watch, y'all. The game was poorly played. The officials were atrocious, and the announcers it was certainly not their best day for Taylor Zarzar and Matt Stinchcomb. All the way around, this is what you'd expect when you have 2 sub-500 teams at 11 a.m. on the SEC network. And it lived up to that billing. But LSU got a win, which they desperately needed. The reality is Saturday was a throwback to the Les Miles era. That was a Milesian game if I ever saw one. LSU ran 91 plays to Arkansas's 53. LSU dominated time of possession 41-43 to 18-17. Like, that doesn't even sound real. Arkansas was down to 6 total defensive linemen. Arkansas was 0 of 10 on third down. You won the turnover battle, and you needed a blocked field goal at the gun to avoid going OT. You even had a bad clock management issue for good measure. That, if ever there was a flashback to the Miles era, Saturday was it. You won the game, but you really didn't feel good about it coming out. But they needed to win. They got the win, and now they move on. A few observations from my vantage point about Saturday's win for LSU. Let's start with TJ Finley. And what's really interesting in going through social media comments and a lot of emails and stuff, and then listening to some of the post game on Saturday, so much of the conversation after the game wasn't about TJ Finley, which in many respects does kind of speak to his maturation, doesn't it? When you can have a freshman quarterback starting and your commentary doesn't immediately default to the freshman quarterback, I think that's a sign that he's growing up. But Finley was really good. 27 of 42, 271 yards, 2 touchdowns, did not turn the ball over. That was a huge difference from the Auburn game, of course, where the 3 turnovers by Finley led to 21 Auburn points, and that's what flipped the game. He protected the football on Saturday, and that was key. And maybe most importantly is he led a game-winning touchdown drive. You're down in the fourth quarter, you put the ball in the hand of your freshman quarterback, and he leads you on a game-winning drive. And on the game-winning touchdown, nothing's there. He buys time. He finds Jaray Jenkins and puts it low where the defender couldn't get it and his receiver could. I thought that was a huge grow-up moment for Finley to go on the road to get his first road win and to lead a game-winning drive at that. Defense is still giving up too many big plays. I mean, this is a broken record at this point, but plays of 65, 51, 50, 29, and 29. LSU to this point in the season, and I'll tip my cap to T-Bob. He did this research. I saw him tweeted earlier today. 9 plays of 50 or more yards. Let me say that again slowly. LSU through 6 games has given up 9 plays of 50 yards or more. That is the most in college football. This is just so abnormal. It is so atypical from what we usually expect from an LSU football team, especially from an LSU secondary. But here we are. Really nice day for Ty Davis-Price. 24 carries, 104 yards, touchdown. It was great to see Ty Davis-Price get off. Now we've seen both Emory and Ty Davis-Price have big games this season, and depending on the flow of a given game, you might see either one of those guys take a big step. So that was good to see Ty Davis-Price have the day he did. Let me take a second and mention the end of the half sequence, which was head-scratching and borderline offensive. LSU throws for a first down at the Arkansas 27. They let the clock run down to 27 seconds, letting almost 10 seconds burn before they actually call the timeout, their first of the half. Finally, they call a timeout with 27 seconds left. They run another play. They throw a completed pass down to the 16-yard line to Arik Gilbert, and then hurry up and run another play. That play is an incomplete pass to the right sideline in front of the pylon. Looked like it might have been a catch. They ruled it incomplete. Clock stops. LSU calls its second timeout after an incomplete pass. The clock stopped, and they called a timeout. Clock stopped. Called timeout to come to the sideline. And what did they draw up with 9 seconds and 1 timeout to go? What did they draw up but a draw? They run a draw, call their final timeout, kick a field goal. That was to have roughly 30 seconds and 3 timeouts and to only get off 2 plays and a draw and then kicking your field goal is almost unthinkable. You have to try to be that inefficient to not maximize that situation, to be able to take at least 1 shot into the end zone. But it's what transpired, and we all watched it, and it was it was jaw-dropping to watch that level of inefficiency with the clock in the red zone at the end of the first half. I know a lot of people were talking about the officials and the broadcasters, and we can get into that as well. I thought both were atrocious, from calling Dale Rosenthal one of the best left tackles in football, to the inconsistency on the targeting calls, which are basically identical. Both were good calls. I hate that rule, as we have talked about so much over the years. But throwing those kids, those young guys, out of a football game for essentially doing what they're taught and not leading with their head is just massively absurd. And now it not only affects one game, but two games. If you're Jalen Catalon from Arkansas, I feel bad for him. But Matt Stinchcomb couldn't have been more inconsistent on the two. They would not let the Emory fumble, which was reviewed. They would not let that go, although I think the officials got that call right because there was no clear recovery. You had Faucia, the defensive back from Arkansas, ripping the ball out from the bottom of the pile when you couldn't tell clearly who had it. There was the Frank scramble where he was clearly down at the 16, reached the ball forward. They had to review it. The broadcast crew was saying, he clearly got it. The next, like a split second later, almost like it was out of a movie, the official saying, after further review, the runner was down at the 16. It was an awful watch. The officials, the broadcast, the play on the field, it was a really brutal watch, but you got the win. You got the win. You're at 500. Hopefully that's a little bit of momentum you can take into this week going on the road against Texas A&M, where you find yourself a 2-touchdown underdog. And Tigers are going to have a big effort to give themselves a chance this week on the road in College Station. But they made it 5 in a row against Arkansas, and we've talked so much this year where you have the elite in the SEC, and then you have this hodgepodge of average to bad. And where does LSU fall in that ranking? Well, beating Arkansas is a good step to elevate yourself up that ladder a bit. All right, so LSU beats Arkansas. Ed Ogeron met with the media today, gave updates on Derek Stingley and Racey McMath, who apparently that hamstring injury is severe enough it's going to keep him out this week, very likely. So a lot we'll get to. We'll let you hear plenty from what Coach O had to say today, looking back and previewing the game against Texas A&M. When we come back, though, I want to talk about the Saints. They are 8-2, and with Green Bay's loss, the Saints now sit atop the NFC standings. It's getting good. And I do, of course, have to share with you my thoughts on the day that Taysom Hill had, considering many of you knew my criticism that many shared on Sean Payton's decision to start Taysom Hill. We'll delve into all of that when we come back. Glad you are with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. Awesome news. Christmas trees are now in at Clegg's Nursery. All 4 locations. Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every day to buy local and shop local. And right now, if you are shopping for a Christmas tree, get by Clegg's Nursery. Our family tradition is that every Black Friday, after Thanksgiving happens, we wake up on Black Friday, and then we go and we hit Clegg's Nursery and we get our Christmas tree, and then Erica turns our home into Santa's workshop. You can do the same. They've got poinsettias, they've got Christmas trees, they've got indoor and outdoor Christmas decor. It's all for you there at Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations. Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. For more than 60 years, it's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150 XLT. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Get a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off of MSRP.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyota-thon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Okay.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So I thought he played well. You know, he had the one turnover late in the game in the 4-minute. You know, we had a big touchdown pass called back, but look, it was a good team win. I thought we were fantastic defensively. I don't know what our rushing numbers were, but I think it's a really good run defense. And, you know, we managed to take advantage of enough opportunities to win that game.
Sean Payton on his starting quarterback Taysom Hill and the overall performance of the Saints, who score a 24-9 win over the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. The Saints moved to 8-2 after the win. That, coupled with Green Bay's loss in the afternoon window to Indianapolis in overtime, means the Saints now are alone atop the NFC as the 1 seed. Now, I need to be consistent here, because whenever the Saints were not in the 1 seed, I sat right here and I said, listen, seeding potentially has never meant less than it does this year. You potentially could be in a bubble where no one has home field. And if it's an 8-team playoff, then there is no bye. So it's literally never meant less to be the 1 seed. Now, if you do maintain a home game in the playoffs and the 1 seed does get a bye, as was scheduled prior to the season when all the COVID craziness started, then yes, the 1 seed is massively significant. So remains to be seen how significant being the 1 seed is. And you've still got 6 games to go. But for now, it's nice to see the Saints perched atop the NFC standings. And most importantly, it's nice to see the Saints defense playing the way they are. They have been as dominant as any defense has through this part in the season. This Saints defense has been as dominant as any in the modern era. I'll tip cap to Larry Holder, who retweeted at Talent Stats. I'm not familiar, but it's Drew Porsche at Talent Stats. Check out this number for some perspective on the Saints defense. And I am going to talk about Taysom Hill. I know everybody. Listen, I'm not naive. I know everybody wants to hear what I have to say about Taysom, considering how hard I went on Friday and the Saints win yesterday. I'm going to get there. But truthfully, the bigger story from Sunday is not Taysom Hill. It's the Saints defense. The Saints are the 5th team since the merger. 5 teams since the merger that have allowed 743 rush yards or less and have 32 sacks or more through 10 games. It may seem obscure, but basically great run defense, elite pressure. The only teams that have matched what the Saints have done this year, the 86 Giants, which won the Super Bowl, the 91 Saints, the Dome Patrol, they lost in the wild card round to Atlanta. The 97 49ers, which lost in the NFC Championship game, and the 08 Steelers, which won the Super Bowl. So the 4 previous teams that have done what this Saints defense has done, 2 of them won the Super Bowl, 3rd went to the NFC Championship game. I mean, you're embarking on historic territory defensively. These Saints have allowed 1 touchdown in the last 3 games. In the modern NFL, this isn't 1972. With Cleveland against Pittsburgh in the snow. This is the modern NFL. This is spread it out and go. 3 games, the Saints have allowed 1 touchdown? Fox showed the stat last night. At one point in the 4th quarter, Atlanta had negative 4 yards of offense in the second half. The Saints have now tied the NFL record with 53 consecutive games without allowing a 100-yard rusher. They've now tied the Eagles from 89 to 92, and they could break that record and will break that record on Sunday in Denver. I mean, and oh, by the way, they did this yesterday without their best cover corner in Marshawn Lattimore. That was to dominate your rival, to put yourself atop the NFC standings, to set historical benchmarks defensively, and to do it without Drew Brees as well. Like, this Saints team at this point, for me, has erased the doubt I had about them being a Super Bowl contender through the first 5 weeks of the season. And it's because we knew what they were going to be offensively. The disappointment early was the defense wasn't what they were billed to be. They are now, and it is massively impressive what this Saints defense is doing right now. Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill had a very, very solid day for the Saints under center. There was some good, there was some bad. Most important, though, the Saints won, and he kept the trains on the tracks. If you were here on Friday, if you missed it, for the benefit of those that missed it, I'll regurgitate my take just very quickly. My feeling is and remains that Taysom Hill is not going to be a franchise starting quarterback in the NFL. And I don't think one game changes my opinion of that. Yeah, Tim Tebow won a playoff game. A year ago, Kyle Allen won his first 4 starts in Carolina. They finished on a 7-game losing streak. Robert Griffin III was the NFL Rookie of the Year. That ain't going so hot of late. You understand my point. One game does not make or break an entirety of a career. And I'd put it to you this way. If Taysom Hill goes out in Denver on Sunday and struggles, I'm not going to come here next Monday and say, I told you so. My point is and remains, I think Jameis Winston, long-term, would be a great option for the New Orleans Saints post-Brees. And this was an opportunity to prove or disprove that. Sean Payton disagrees. Okay, the most important thing right now is to win games. And Taysom Hill went out yesterday and did that. There was some not great, y'all. They started the game. Taysom was 6 of 10 for 61 yards, and the Saints were down 9-3. And then he threw a pass, which looked like a punt in a high school game, that was caught for 44 yards. And from that moment, it was like the light switch came on, and it energized the whole offense. Taysom nearly threw an interception on the field goal drive in the first quarter. I mean, he got lucky that the ball wasn't picked. He took 2 sacks needlessly because he didn't get rid of the ball. The most disappointing part for me, actually, was Sean Payton in the first half eliminated the Taysom Hill runs. Like, one of the most dynamic parts of Taysom Hill is his ability to affect a defense by running the football. Look at the first possession of the game. They throw an 8-yard pass to Mike Thomas. They hand the ball off to Latavius Murray for 1. It's 3rd and 1. And instead of running Taysom Hill, getting the yard and moving the sticks, they try to pass, and Taysom Hill gets sacked. Like, that wasn't a Hill problem. That's a Sean Payton problem. Look at how the game changed in the second half when they were willing to allow Taysom Hill to use his legs to soften the defense. He lost a couple of he fumbled twice. He lost one of them on the season. Taysom's fumbled 6 times. Like, that's a problem. If you're going to be a quarterback that runs the ball, you've got to protect the ball. So, again, there was some not good. There was some really good. He looked very much in command in the first drive of the third quarter, actually his first pass attempt of the third quarter. Beautiful job climbing the pocket, sidestepping pressure, throwing a dart over the middle to Mike Thomas. I thought that was his best throw of the day. His runs in the second half were magnificent. The one around right end, which was his longest run of the day, which ended in the fumble, got to protect the ball. The touchdown around left end when he outran the whole Atlanta defense. But we knew that about Taysom Hill. We knew that element was there. The question is, could he beat you throwing the football? Did not throw for a touchdown. Did not have an interception, however. Started slow, gained some steam late. Michael Thomas had a critical drop in the first half, which probably would have led to points for New Orleans had he come up with that. But either way, I think the first half was very uneven. The second half it clicked, and it was a lot of fun. And if they can bottle that second half and carry that forward with Taysom for as long as Drew is out, they're going to be competitive and have a chance to win every game they play until Drew Brees returns. Let's see if they can do that consistently. But overwhelmingly, I would say, for the biggest story moving forward here is defensively, the New Orleans Saints look like a team that did a year ago when Drew Brees went down and Teddy Bridgewater went in, and it was almost like everyone realized we got to ratchet up the intensity. And that stretch of 5 games, they were so dominant defensively, picking up the slack with Drew Brees out, and it felt like that was dialed in yesterday. And I'm going to tell you the other guy that I'd be remiss if I didn't mention right now is Quan Alexander. Quana, and I know he's an LSU guy, so I don't want this to come off like a homer comment, but I love what Quan Alexander brings to this defense because put it to you this way. Aside from the long hair, did you ever really notice Alex Anzalone on the field? Not much. Quan Alexander, you can't help but notice whenever he's out there because he's physical and he's aggressive. I love the aggressive nature where it's the same thing that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is for this defense, where he'll hit you in the mouth and then let you know about it. And that's Quan Alexander. It's like in hockey where you have to have that enforcer, the guy that's going to be part of a line change that's just there to be physical and rough a team up. Basketball typically has that same guy down low. Charles Oakley was a throwback guy like that. You know, that's Quan Alexander. And you've got 2 of them now on your defense with Quan and with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And I think that adds a completely different element when so many people think the Saints, dome team, flashy offense, are a finesse team. When you have guys like that are nasty and dirty and mean, will pop you and let you know about it, it adds a physical dimension and an attitude that I don't think you had fully before. Those 2 guys I think are critical for this defense. But overall, man, 8 sacks yesterday. Alvin Kamara gets in the end zone for the 50th time in 55 games. Taysom Hill with 2 rushing touchdowns in the ball game. Just fantastic to see all the way around. Saints get a win. They're 8-2, their 7th consecutive win, and now they're atop the NFC alone after Green Bay's loss. All right, we're going to let you hear more. Sean Payton met with the media today. Also, Drew Brees did an interview last evening with Mike Neighbors on CST. On Saints game day. So we're going to let you hear from Drew Brees as well, what he had to say about Taysom's day, his recovery, all of that. That's coming up. Scott Shanley in 30 minutes from right now, his impression of this Saints defense. We'll get to that coming up here in about 30 minutes. Glad you're with us. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC, and then we'll head up to Cincinnati, get the latest on Joe Burrow in about 15 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds and remind you about our friends at Premier South Roofing and PremierSouthLA.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and online at PremierSouthLA.com. PremierSouthLA.com. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Super Service Award from Angie's List. Torch Award for Ethics in Business. That's what you get at Premier South Roofing. You get a better experience with a contractor. You get a company that was here before the storm, that will be here long after the storms, that will help you recover post-storm. So if you're in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, the North Shore, any points that were affected by any of the storms this storm season, and you need a roof repair, a roof replacement, if it's gutters or awnings, they do it all at Premier South Roofing. Check them out online. See pictures of their great work at PremierSouthLA.com. PremierSouthLA.com. Again, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, and the North Shore, and online, PremierSouthLA.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Hello?
What's up, B? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg. Roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up. Roof's up. Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So LSU basketball was set to open their season in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's not going to happen. Tigers announced over the weekend that instead they'll open their season in St. Louis in the Billiken Classic. That's on the campus of St. Louis University. So they were originally scheduled to take place in a multi-team event in Lincoln. Now they'll play Thanksgiving Day November the 26th against Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. And then on the 28th, Saturday, they'll play St. Louis. Times of both games still to be announced. And TV or streaming of the games also will be announced early this week. Most importantly, I'm just glad they're playing. I'm just glad that LSU basketball is going to tip off because as you'll see in around the SEC and here, there's a pretty decided flavor of college basketball games being postponed or canceled, and that was to be expected. I mean, we did talk about this several months ago or several weeks ago on AFR. Ross Dellinger put together a piece where he had talked to epidemiologists and several of the decision makers around college athletics, and they said, listen, the real problem is going to come with basketball because in football you have large enough rosters to where you can have a player out, player or two or even 10 and still have enough to field a team. But if contact tracing impacts college basketball, then your whole roster's on the shelf. And we're already starting to see that before the season's even tipped off. But LSU, they will tip off Thanksgiving Day in St. Louis against Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. And then on Saturday, they'll play St. Louis, the Billikens. And I'll remind you, you can listen to all the games, every LSU basketball game on the LSU Sports Radio Network in Baton Rouge on our sister station, either Eagle 98.1 or 100.7 The Tiger, really depending on if football's playing that day. So on Saturday, I'm guessing because of LSU football, you'll hear basketball likely on 100.7 The Tiger in the greater Baton Rouge area. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're with us here. Let me remind you about South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com had a buddy who actually went by on Friday and picked up a certified pre-owned truck at South Point Volkswagen. Extremely complimentary. The staff, the whole process. If you're looking for a new vehicle, of course, it's a great time to buy a Volkswagen. And if you've never considered Volkswagen, check out the all-new redesigned Volkswagen line. And Sign the Drive is going on right now. So 0 down, 0 to its signing, no first month's payment, 0 security deposit. Sign your name, you're driving away in a brand new vehicle. Or, of course, you can shop their certified pre-owned selection, all different makes and models, not just Volkswagens. It's at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
Tight end Kyle Pitts set to return to the lineup after missing the previous 2 games following a hit in the Georgia game that left him with a concussion and required a small nasal surgery. Dan Mullen said James Houston will also be back this week for the Gators. Kentucky is the opponent. Kentucky knocked off Florida in Mullen's first year in charge. And then last year, Florida had a rally from an 11-point deficit in the fourth quarter. So Florida closer to full strength this week when they take on Kentucky.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee men's basketball has paused all team activities following multiple positive COVID-19 test results, including one from head coach Rick Barnes. Positive tests were conducted Sunday afternoon. Barnes has entered isolation protocol following his positive test. Tennessee was scheduled to start the season Wednesday against Charlotte, and then they were going to play VCU on Friday. Barnes, now the 6th major conference coach to announce he's tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 2 weeks. Tennessee, number 12 in the preseason AP Top 25.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Due to positive COVID-19 tests and contact tracing within the Ole Miss men's basketball program, the Justin Reed Ole Miss Classic and their matchup against Memphis have been canceled. Team activities have been suspended until December the 7th for the Rebs. Ole Miss now scheduled to begin its season December the 12th, hosting UNC Wilmington at the Pavilion.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
More COVID news. Georgia's men's basketball game against Gardner-Webb scheduled for Sunday. It's been canceled following a positive test within the Gardner-Webb program. Basketball program at Georgia is in the process of seeking a replacement opponent. Bulldogs still on schedule, to open the season this Wednesday at home against Columbus State.
The Auburn Tigers.
And Sharif Cooper, one of the top-rated players to ever commit to Auburn basketball, His eligibility status unclear now just days before the season opener. So Cooper has not been practicing because of these eligibility questions. And Auburn's set to open the season Thursday against St. Joseph's in Fort Myers. Until a decision is made, ESPN's reporting Cooper is not expected to participate in practice or games. Cooper was the number 5 point guard in the country, averaged 30 points a game as a senior. As a freshman, he was expected to start and help Auburn in a year where they lose all 5 starters from their team a season ago. Cooper also exploring his options. If he's not deemed eligible, he could play in Europe or in Australia. And there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. They're online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. If you are a business owner, you need your business to run more efficiently. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, North Shore, Gulf Coast Office Products has got you covered. gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, y'all, we're going to talk to Scott Shanley, former Saint linebacker, about 19 minutes from right now after the top of the hour. This Saints defense is pacing in the direction which only 4 modern-era, Super Bowl-era defenses have done, and it's so impressive, the about-face from how this season started. So how have they done it? We're going to talk about that with Scott Shanley coming up about 19 minutes from right now. A lot still to get to. We got to let you hear from Ed Ogeron, who met with the media today. Tigers are an underdog at Texas A&M. BYU wants to play for a championship, but they're running scared. Sean Payton trolling Roddy White. Got a lot to get to here over the next couple hours, and glad you're hanging out. Stick around. We will head up to Cincinnati when we come back. The disappointing news about former LSU quarterback Joe Burrow. Torn ACL, MCL, and structural damage after the injury yesterday against the Washington football team. Our buddy Brandon Sejo, who's working up in Cincinnati now, is going to join us when we come back next. It's AFR.
AFR.
It's early, so it's a perfect time to call Insurance Network of Louisiana. They're open until 5, so you got another hour and 18 minutes to call. 293-0450. 293-0450. If you're driving around, maybe you get the week off because of the holidays. Thanksgiving's on Thursday. Perfect. Christmas is right around the corner. How about you start this process now to save yourself money before you start your Christmas shopping or before you have to pay all your Christmas bills? It's easy. Insurance Network of Louisiana shops independently to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. There's been instances where we've seen people save literally thousands of dollars annually on their insurance. What could that do for your family if you were able to save that much money on your insurance coverage? 293-0450. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're heading up to Cincinnati here in just a quick second. Joe Burrow carted off season-ending knee injury. Our buddy Brandon Seho will join us in just a second. Congrats to Andre Anthony, LSU defensive end, named the SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. Couple of sacks this past weekend on the road at Arkansas. And Ed Orgeron did say before the season, and it does make sense, that some of the guys would transition and fit better in this style of defense, just like we saw the contrast being true, right? Apu Ika, Tyler Shelvin, Marcel Brooks, guys that haven't necessarily, 3-4 guys that didn't necessarily fit a 4-3. Well, the same is true on the flip side for a guy like Andre Anthony, who is a more prototypical 4-3 defensive end, hand in the dirt, get up the field, rush the passer, and he's been quite good at that. So congrats to Andre Anthony, a guy who's been persistent, who at this point in his career is getting on the field as a 4-3 end and making the most of his time. Switched to jersey number 3 whenever Jacoby Stevens switched to the number 7 jersey. And, of course, that means Andre Anthony wearing the 3 coming off the edge and the SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. So that was fantastic to see this past weekend. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. The disappointing news, which we all saw on Sunday. Former LSU quarterback Joe Burrow, his rookie season in Cincinnati comes to a premature end after a really devastating hit simultaneously by a couple of former SEC defensive linemen, Jonathan Allen and Montez Sweat of the Washington football team. Brandon Seho, formerly of WBRZ here in Baton Rouge, now at WLWT in Cincinnati, good enough to join us. Brandon, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'd be better if Joe Burrow was still playing football for the Bengals. It's watching that yesterday was tough, Matt.
I think that's the case for everybody here, certainly in Cincinnati as well. There's been sort of this kinship with Baton Rouge and Cincinnati with Burrow being there. I think that's obvious. But let me just take me back to yesterday, because I think many people probably weren't watching the game, and what all transpired that led to that injury.
Well, the Bengals, they're playing Washington. They're both two bad football teams right now. The Bengals, I think, have more upside, obviously, with Joe Burrow being the number 1 pick, the best college quarterback ever. And, they were in a competitive game looking for their 3rd win of the season. He had just had before halftime, had a great touchdown pass to A.J. Green, perfect ball right in the corner of the end zone. And they were starting to drive in the 3rd quarter, and that ball went up. And you didn't really notice it until you kind of saw everyone stop, and they cut the camera away, and you see Joe laying there. And I know, in Cincinnati, this has happened before. It's happened with Carson Palmer with the Bengals. It's happened with Kenyon Martin when Cincinnati was the number one team in the country. It happened when Ken Griffey Jr. came back to the Reds. So that feeling of seeing a superstar on the ground holding his knee has happened in this city before, and everyone just thought the worst. And today, unfortunately, we got, I think, worse news than what we were expecting.
Have you gotten any word from the Bengals team doctors about possibility of recovery?
I think they are still positive that it can be a 9-month recovery time, which is the standard for an athlete, give or take, a few weeks with an ACL tear. But he had an MCL and also other structural issues that happened on that play. So it's not just an ACL, but they're still confident that he can be back by the 2021 season. Now, Zach Taylor, the Bengals head coach today, when he talked to us just under an hour ago, would not confirm if he will be ready for the start of the 2021 season. He was asked multiple times about that, and he said, I've said what I've said, and he'll be back in 2021. He also wouldn't confirm that it's an ACL, an MCL, and what all went wrong. So the Bengals are being tight-lipped about this injury, but from what I understand, this is worse than what we thought last night.
Brandon, what's been the fan reaction to the Burrow injury?
Well, because of what I just said, oh no, here we go again. This is, Burrow, I mean this I'm not, exaggerating here. Burrow is seen to be the savior of this franchise and the savior of this sports town. And that's not, me catering to an LSU audience. That's what it's like here in Cincinnati. They want Burrow to not just be a franchise quarterback, but franchise-changing quarterback. So I think generally everyone was like, oh, no, here we go again. People are bummed out yesterday when they see him on the ground. But they believe he's going to come back. The fan base on Twitter believes he's going to come back. But I think the news today that it wasn't just the ACL kind of was a reality check that, man, that was an unlucky, bad hit. And it's in between a freak injury and also being a quarterback that gets hit more than most in the NFL, definitely when it comes to being a rookie quarterback in the league.
Brandon Sejo is our guest, WLWT television in Cincinnati. A lot of people here and people, LSU fans who are just watching Bengals football for the first time in their life are going, well, this is what you get for not protecting your investment. Is this more of an impetus to go get offensive line help in Cincinnati?
I think it is, but it shouldn't have come down to Joe Burrow, getting his leg brutally injured against the Washington football team. This is something that should have happened in the offseason. And they've had injuries up front. They've had draft picks underperform. And this has been a constant when Andy Dalton was the quarterback here. So they've had time to fix this issue. And unfortunately, they've swung and missed on either draft picks or guys they've brought in. Jonah Williams, the top pick out of Alabama 2 years ago, got hurt in training camp. So this is his rookie year per se. And they've had guys going in and out. Yeah, they haven't invested the best they could, and they don't have the best offensive line that they could get in front of Joe Burrow. And it was almost like the feeling here in Cincinnati, and I'm sure it is for LSU fans watching this season, that it was a ticking time bomb before Burrow got hurt. And like I said, unfortunately, it's about as hurt as you can get at that quarterback position.
Hey, Brandon, before you go, maybe just a thought, and we're under 60 seconds, a thought on, I know you said the fan base is sort of viewing Burrow as their savior, but how has he been embraced or he embraced Cincinnati so far early in his career?
I think he's embraced Cincinnati about as well as any athlete I can remember here in town, and I'm from here, so I remember, Ken Griffey Jr., Votto, all those big names. A.J. Green's a great guy. But Burrow has accepted the fan base. He obviously has some fun on the field. They love his swagger. He the nonprofit, giving back to Athens. But just the state of Ohio, I think, as you guys have seen too, he's really given back to. The Bengals, they need a guy like that, and he gives them some swagger, some energy, and the fans love it. And he's definitely embraced them, I think.
Brandon Seho, he's on Twitter at Brandon Seho, WLWT Television in Cincinnati, formerly of WBRZ here in Baton Rouge. Brandon, it's great to hear your voice, man. Continued success. We appreciate a couple of minutes, all right?
Thank you. Tell my guy, Michael Cobble, I said hey.
He's listening, no doubt. Thanks, man. We'll see you. That is Brandon Seho. Thanks, bud. This is After Further Review. Glad you're with us. Scott Shanley, former Saint linebacker. He's going to join us coming up right after SportsCenter. Always love Scott's perspective, and I got to get it after the dominant stretch that these Saints have been on over the last 3 weeks. It's After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Stick around. Hour 2 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, or construction loans, GMFS Mortgage does it all, and they are our state's largest local lender. So if you want to make sure your loan decision is made right here in Louisiana and not in Cleveland or New York City or Chicago or D.C. or L.A., GMFS Mortgage. There's local loan officers all over the state. So log on to the website, gmfsmortgage.com, gmfsmortgage.com. Log on, find the local loan officer nearest you, get in touch, and then let them help you change your life financially. Maybe it's refinancing your mortgage. We have literally had people lower their interest rate as much as 2 points. I mean, what if you could save hundreds of dollars a month on your mortgage? Find out. gmfsmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150 XLT. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, an MRI has revealed Bengals rookie quarterback Joe Burrow has a torn ACL, MCL, and other structural issues in his left knee, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter and Ben Baby. Coach Zach Taylor says Burrow will have season-ending surgery. It all adds up to a failure of a 2020 for Cincinnati, explains Ben Baby.
You cannot accelerate your rebuild anymore until Joe Burrow comes back. Joe Burrow obviously did not have a normal preseason because of COVID-19. We needed him to get all these reps that he could in 2020, and he was making, weekly progress, and you started to feel good about what he was able to do. And now all of that is on hold, and you have to continue this whole rebuilding process into 2021.
ESPN Bengals reporter Ben Baby with Chiney and Mike Golick Jr. Vikings receiver Adam Thielen on the COVID-19 reserve list. He leads the NFL with 11 touchdown catches. The Ravens facility closed after at least 4 members of the organization, including running backs Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins, tested positive for COVID-19. A source told ESPN's Chris Mortensen there has been no change for the status of the Thursday night game against the unbeaten Steelers.
We're back on Tuesday, reacting to the Buccaneers and the Rams on Monday night. So where will the winner be in my real rankings? And what about the loser? Will they miss the playoffs? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Tuesday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Home edition. Glad you're hanging out. We're on CST today, so shout out to Brain and Paulie back in studio, still at home for a couple days this week, I guess, probably until Thanksgiving. Then we'll be back in studio, hopefully, for Black Friday. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Great weekend. Tigers win. Saints win. How about the Saints now in sole possession of first place in the NFC, winners of 7 straight, and in large part, it's been on the back of that defense. Wanted to bring aboard our friend of the show, former Saint linebacker Scott Shanley. You see him on CST, Saints Game Day, Saints Tonight, and good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Scott, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me on.
Always our pleasure, man. The last time you and I spoke was when the Saints played the Chargers on Monday Night Football. Since then, the Saints defensively have been one of, if not the best defensive teams in the NFL. How have they managed to turn it around so emphatically?
I think it's just playing together. I mean, they had a couple different guys, new faces, Malcolm Jenkins being the most notable one. Getting him integrated into the defense, finding out what he can do well at his age compared to the last time he was here, compared to what Von Bell was doing in the defense, the emergence of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Trey Hendrickson. All these guys just keep getting better every single week. And, I haven't noticed a wholesale scheme change, so it's not like the defensive coaches sat down and said, we need to change everything we're doing. I just think this team started to play to their potential, and they started to eliminate mental mistakes. They stopped letting the ball go over their head. That's been the biggest difference I've noticed, is just not giving up those explosive plays. And the secondary as far as that goes. But really, the biggest difference to this defense has been the defensive line. The defensive line has been playing phenomenal the last 3 weeks, starting it in the Tampa Bay game. Took over that game, and they've been the biggest difference maker the last 3 weeks on this defense.
1 touchdown allowed in 3 weeks is almost like a punchline. Like, that doesn't happen in the NFL, but here we are. I'm glad you brought up the defensive line, Scott, because a lot of people have also pointed to Marcus Davenport's return. Now, it's not that he's been the big statistical boost, but how has Davenport's return since week 6 really affected this defense and maybe the defensive line?
Well, just adding depth. These defensive linemen, it's really hard for a guy to line up from play one till the end of the game and rush the passer full speed. And I think it really helps when you have depth in the defensive line and guys who can play multiple positions. And then you get into these games where they become passing situation games, and now these guys are teeing off and they're getting 2 or 3 sacks a game. I think that speaks volumes about the depth that has been created at the defensive line position, and having a guy like Davenport back And, not so much against the Falcons, but the other couple games, he was making plays. He was getting in there. He was forcing the quarterback to get rid of the ball quick. So I think the biggest thing is just having a guy with his size and his explosiveness and being able to rotate more guys really helps the defensive line position.
Of course, Scott, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about a position you're familiar with in the addition of Quan Alexander to this linebacker core. We know Demario Davis is an all-pro, one of the best linebackers in football, but in what ways materially in a couple of games has Quan Alexander made them better at that spot?
Well, he's very athletic. I mean, you can tell by when he goes out there, him and Demario in the nickel defense, which is a base defense anymore in the NFL. Those guys can both run, they can both cover, and you can just, I love his energy that he brings to the team. He's always bouncing around and has a smile on his face, and I think those guys getting involved in the locker room, it keeps everybody enjoying seeing each other, going into work and lifting and going to meetings, and because the season can get long, it can become a grind, and everything's more fun when you're winning. But I think Quan brings an energy level to that linebacker position, and I've been really, really happy with the way he's been running around the field. He looks explosive, and he looks like he's healthy.
A year ago, Scott, when Drew Brees went out with a thumb injury, it really felt like the defense elevated their play. And statistically, it obviously backed it up for that 5-game stretch. I guess, presumably, they're doing the same now. Is there something to that when the rest of the team sees Drew go down, they all feel like they have to elevate?
Yes, no question about it. And I think it speaks volumes about the team culture that is in New Orleans, that when they see a player go down, even if it's not Drew, even when Michael Thomas went down, you saw other players step up. And I think it speaks volumes about the culture, about the trust and the brotherhood that's formed in that locker room. But anytime you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the greatest to ever play the game, go down, immediately everybody soul searches and says, I got to pick up my game. I have to play the best I've played until you see number 9 out there, because he does so much for you every Sunday. He is the ultimate eraser. He covers up for mistakes. He covers up for penalties. He covers up for lack of takeaways on the defense. So I think that's a credit to the defense, that just like last year when Teddy came in for 5 games, Teddy played well, but it was really the story about the defense that helped them go 5-0 over those 5 games last year as well.
A couple more minutes with Scott Shanley. Of course, 2 of the last 3 games have been against divisional opponents, and they didn't allow a touchdown to either Tampa or Atlanta. I mean, Scott, typically I would assume it's harder to play against divisional opponents because you both know each other so well. How has New Orleans – how did they do what they did yesterday? How did they do what they did against Tampa and just completely whitewashing those offenses?
I think the Saints have been more physical than the teams they've been playing. I think the Saints are a much more physical team than Atlanta. Atlanta is a finesse team. They are not going to line up and just smack you in the mouth play after play. And the Saints are becoming that type of team. Defensively, they've done it for the past 2.5 years in the run defense, haven't given up a 100-yard rusher, which is a phenomenal stat. And you have to have guys willing to play physical football. And now you see the offensive line last week with Latavius and Alvin. They can line up and run the ball on anybody. And so, you go back to the Tampa Bay game, the Saints were just way more physical. They controlled the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively. And when you play that type of football, you have a chance to win championships. And to me, the Saints offensive line is, you can argue they've been the best offensive line in football the last 2 or 3 years. And they're starting to take over games. And if this team is healthy, I don't see a more talented team in the NFL. It's just all about staying healthy and hitting that stride come January.
As a guy in the locker room, how do you feel about Sean Payton trolling Roddy White?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely. I mean, that's the fun of the rivalry. I mean, we as players go back and forth. There is no love lost between Roddy White and any of us guys who played against him. Just like Tony Gonzalez, we hated playing Atlanta. We don't like those guys. We felt like everything we did and had a lot of success, that those guys never gave us credit for being as good as we were. It was always something why we were good and they weren't, and always beat them all the time. And it's awesome as a player, as a former player, to see your head coach get involved in that rivalry, that back and forth. And now, the social media, the Saints go back and forth with the Falcons on social media. I love it. It's great. It's a great part of football. It's great to have division rivalries. And I love the cities they dislike each other as much as the players and the coaches and the social media accounts. So it's fun.
Scott, before you go, as a defensive player, and you're watching Taysom Hill, think about Denver or Atlanta the second time moving forward. How are teams going to try to stop this offense with Taysom Hill moving forward? What's the adjustment?
I'm going to be honest. I was shocked that Atlanta did not come out and blitz a lot more and send the house and play man coverage and force Taysom to speed up his timing. There were a few times he held on to the ball too long and got sacked because it took long for him to find the route that was open. And I really believe this week's going to be a different story. Drew Lock is not as good as Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan didn't play well, but Denver is going to be a physical team. Denver is going to get after you defensively and blitz and hit you in the mouth. Vic Fangio, he is going to have a physical football team. So it's going to be a different game this week, and I look for him to bring the heat and speed up the clock in Taysom's head when it comes to the passing game. And it's going to be a physical game in Denver.
He is former Saint linebacker Scott Shanley. Every Saints game day, make sure you catch him on CST, Saints game day and Saints Tonight. He's good enough to give us some of his time today. Scott, we appreciate you as always, man. Thanks so much.
Yep, no problem.
We'll do it again soon. Scott Shanley, great analyst and great former Saint as well. Look, man, we'll talk about it a bit later, the Sean Payton, Roddy White thing, but I'm the guy that has said forever, I want pro sports to look more like wrestling or MMA or boxing, where you have trash talk and smack talk. It's way more entertaining. Aren't we more entertained by Dabo Swinney saying Florida State is running scared? They used COVID as an excuse? Hell yeah, we are. Give me more of that, man. Give me more of Sean Payton retweeting Roddy White and trolling everybody. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll switch from the black and gold to the purple and gold. Tigers get a win against Arkansas. Ed Ogeron met with the media today. We'll let you hear some of what Coach O had to say as he previews the Tigers' trip to College Station. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by our friends at Darren James & Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home, listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Think real estate, think Darren James. So if you need to sell your home, the first thing most people do is they log on and they start looking for comps. Well, do you know how to comp your house? Do you know what your house is worth? Do you know how to properly price your home? The biggest mistake most homeowners make is they list their home for sale by owner, and 73%, almost 3 out of 4 people who list their home for sale by owner, end up hiring a realtor. Save yourself the time, save yourself the money. Call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666. That's Darren's cell. 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Agent225.com. Think real estate. Think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yeah, I was excited for the coaching staff. I was excited for our players, our team, the LSU fans. And again, it took everything we had to beat Arkansas, and we did it. And hopefully it's a springboard for us to have a great end to the season and start with Texas A&M.
Ed Ogeron on Monday meeting with the media after LSU's 27-24 win in Fayetteville over Arkansas and previewing this weekend's game against Texas A&M. It is worth noting that the SEC today, normally Monday is when they announce television windows for the following week. Well, the SEC did not make any such announcements today. So what that obviously means is the schedule shift that we are expecting is likely to happen. So barring anything that could cause other games postponed or moved, we're likely going to see this week, if any games might be moved or postponed, we're likely going to see this week with some announcement that LSU and Alabama will play on December the 5th and that the LSU Ole Miss game will move to December the 19th. So that would also obviously mean that the Bama-Arkansas game scheduled for December the 5th would then move to December the 12th. So a lot of shuffling that we expected within the SEC, but all of that is definitely contingent upon having no more alterations this week. So in any event, it's just so you know, so that's no television times announced for next week. So expect some shift from the SEC, barring any unforeseen changes this week to the schedule. Now, Ed Ogeron did also mention the team going back to College Station for the first time since the 7-overtime loss a couple of years ago.
You know, you could internally, I thought about it this morning, to be honest with you, when I saw the film and I saw the stadium. Some thoughts came by, but you know what? It's my job to be able to prevent problems this week, have a great practice, and not allow those things to happen that happened to us last time. And we have to go and play our best game. I think Texas A&M is a much better team when they're playing at home than they're playing on the road, at least our series. They're going to play their best football. They're going to have a great crowd. Probably the first time, and I'm imagining they're going to have a great crowd, probably the first time this year that the crowd noise will be a factor. We're going to have to be able to handle it. We'll be able to handle the emotions. They're going to be sky high. They haven't played in a while, but so will we.
What Ed Ogeron mentioned there about the crowd noise is relevant. Remember, Texas is probably, along with Florida, the state that's been most aggressive in allowing fans into venues. The Dallas Cowboys have been averaging somewhere around 30,000 fans for home games. So for Texas A&M, I would have said there was a large – if you remember, when A&M beat Florida in College Station, that's when Dan Mullen went to his post-game press conference after the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, had said, you can now have fans, no limit. That's when Dan Mullen went to his post-game press conference and said, I want the Swamp packed. I want it full for LSU. And, of course, that game was postponed to December the 12th now. But anyway, the A&M crowd made a difference in that A&M Florida game. So expect that you will have fans in a crowd this week when LSU goes to College Station. This is a massive game for Texas A&M. There's no other way to say it. Of course, A&M and LSU have a very natural budding rivalry. It's a game and a rivalry that LSU fans clearly have embraced, and one that I think A&M fans have embraced coming into the conference. We know that these two teams, their history stretched back when they were playing home and homes throughout the 80s and the 90s, and there's just the proximity, and for a lot of obvious reasons. But then when you have things transpire on the field the way they have in this series, that's ratcheted up the intensity. You don't need me to spell it out for you, but the 7 overtime game, the fight after the game, putting the 7 overtime score on the cups, playing the game in the A&M locker room, we all know. We all know why this became a big thing, and LSU was out for vengeance last year, and they showed no mercy on A&M, 50-7 that game, and it could have been 100 if they wanted it. But this is an opportunity for A&M where you're looking at it going, this is a fan base that is starved for an elite football team. They're starved for it. They haven't won a national championship since the 30s. They have as many resources, financial recruiting, as any program in the country. And they have not won a conference title since 1998 in the Big 12. And they just have not been able to reach that upper echelon. And they hired Jimbo Fisher with that intention. They broke the bank to bring in a guy who had won a national championship. They thought they could get him back there. And here you have this team that right now is sitting there ranked in the top 10. That's beaten Florida. That's only loss is to Alabama. That has a very winnable schedule ahead. But when you look at it for Texas A&M, this is probably the one. This is the one where if you're A&M, you're going to circle it. You're going to go, that's the one where we've had trouble. LSU, then they're at Auburn, then they're at Tennessee, which, let's say those are easy places to go play and win, but A&M's a better team than them. This is the one where they feel like they've got to get it. And A&M is a 14-point favorite. It opened 12.5, went up to 14. Let me actually check the line right now to see if it's shifted since we've been on air, but last I checked it was 14. It's still at 14. So you're talking about an A&M team that A&M and LSU both offensively are neck and neck statistically in this conference. The difference is defensively, A&M allowing 140 fewer yards per game than LSU, allowing a full touchdown less than LSU per game. LSU's allowing 32 a game, which is embarrassing to say, but A&M's allowing 25. And really outside of the Alabama game, it's been nil. The last time we saw A&M, they were plastering South Carolina 48-3. So LSU played this past week after having a couple of weeks off. A&M now, unexpectedly, a couple of weeks off. We'll see if there's any rust for Texas A&M when they take the field on Saturday. A couple of more from Ed Ogeron. He did update. Can you play 11, please, Brain? He gave an update on Derek Stingley, who left the Arkansas game with injury.
Derek's going to practice today. He's going to be in a gold jersey. He looks like he's going to be okay. I haven't had a final. He's not cleared totally yet, but it looks like he's going to be fine.
So Gordy Rush on the LSU Sports Radio Network reported during the game on Saturday that Stingley took a knee to the head, and that's what took him out of the ball game. But listen, part of part of the issues in the second half on Saturday clearly were you didn't have Stingley and you didn't have Elias Ricks after his targeting penalty. So you were down your two best cornerbacks. And there were issues, but you also have to credit a guy like Jay Ward, who gave up a 51-yarder and then had a pass interference immediately after Ricks went out of the game, but made plays. Jay Ward came up with a big stop on third down at the end of the game to force the field goal attempt, and then he blocked the field goal attempt. So that's a guy who grew up during that game, and that was great to see. The other player that went down with injury is Racey McMath. Can you play 12, please, Brain? Here was Ogeron updating Racey McMath today.
Yeah, Racey's out. He's very doubtful for the game.
So that's disappointing. Ogeron did mention, though, that they might get Trey Palmer back this week, and there's no shortage of receiving options. Of course, you got Terrace Marshall. Jure Jenkins came up with a touchdown pass or reception this past weekend with Keyshawn Boutte and Coy Moore elevating their games. John Trey Kirkland's there, and you might well get Trey Palmer back. You've got options. You've got options at receiver. Go make plays. All right, it's after further review. If you want to join us, you can. Phone lines are open at 499-1045, 499-1045, or toll-free 844-568-MATT, 844-568-6288. You can tweet the show at Matt Moscona, at 1045 ESPN, or jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. So we are on YouTube if you want to watch. We are on CST. You can watch us there as well, and we appreciate you for being here with us. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. I do want to go. By the way, just confirmed, Todd McClure is going to join us, talk some LSU, and he was in the Dome yesterday for Saints-Falcons. He's going to join us in 34 minutes at the top of Hour 3. So looking forward to having Todd McClure on with us. But I have to take some time to talk about big-picture college football based on what happened this weekend, and in particular, what we were hoping might happen this week, that one college football team that fancies itself as a national title contender flat tucked tail and ran away from yesterday. Talk about that next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Carriages in Bocage, carriagesbr.com, carriagesbr.com. Tell them Matt sent you in to Carriages in Bocage. Of course, y'all, Thanksgiving is on Thursday. If you want to go get that Thanksgiving apparel, go see our friends at Carriages in Bocage. It's not too late. The shelves are stocked with fall inventory. If you want the sweater, the quarter zip, the button-up, names and brands you know and love like Stenstrom's, or even local brands like Southern Marsh, they've got you covered at Carriages in Bocage. And all the accessories you could want as well, from footwear, your boots, shoes, travel bags, belts, cufflinks. They've got it all at Carriages in Bocage. They've been there for 30 years in the courtyard in Bocage Village. They started as a children's clothier. They've since grown up with their clientele, and you can check them out for the best men's clothier and the Best of 225 awards. Tell them Matt sent you in when you see our friends at Carriages in Bocage.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off of MSRP.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out.
Find out. I didn't get any email saying we were, but yeah, there's definitely soccer on CST right now. We're back.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, y'all, I'm about to blow a gasket. There's something that bothers me and has bothered me for a long time. And you've heard me talk about it before, but we have another reason to talk about it today. And tomorrow, as a matter of fact, the College Football Playoff Selection Committee is going to announce their first college football playoff rankings. Now, these college football playoff rankings are a futile and fruitless exercise. Typically, as is customary, in the first rankings, the committee does something out of the ordinary just to show that they're thinking outside of the box. My guess is everyone is assuming Bama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Clemson will be the four. I am telling you that my assumption here is that will not be the four. Likely Clemson out or Ohio State out, and someone like Cincinnati will be in, because that's what this committee is going to do, because they have to feel like they have some worth therein. But I have often said that I will never be okay in this format with a group of five or a non-Power 5 team being in the playoff. Because you can say all you want about how good you think BYU is or Cincinnati is or Coastal Carolina is, but it's not about that subjectivity. We have got to play games, and the results on the field have to matter. That's always been my point. If the results on the field don't matter, and the only thing that matters is the opinion of a bunch of yahoos sitting in a room trying to feel self-important, then why are we even bothering to play games? And I will never be okay with a group of five school playing a garbage schedule against which half of the Power 5 could go undefeated, and then they pout because they don't get a seat at the big boy table. What I have said often is, if you want to even be considered, then take every non-conference game you have, go on the road, and play Power 5 schools. And then win them all, and then maybe then we might have a conversation. And you can say, well, that's not fair. The other Power 5 schools don't go play all Power 5 non-conference games, but they play all Power 5 conference games. If you're in the SEC, you play 9 Power 5 opponents in a normal year. Am I supposed to be super impressed that Coastal Carolina went to Kansas and won? IMG Academy could beat Kansas. Get real. I'm supposed to be super impressed? Play somebody. Now, here is where this became relevant. BYU, which is undefeated and has scored a lot of points and had a really impressive offense, and people seem to be really high on BYU and all this nonsense. BYU has had this mantra. They even tweeted out a couple of days ago, anytime, anyone, any place. Okay, apparently that's true unless if it's the University of Washington that wants to play you this week. Because BYU said, yeah, no, we're going to sit this one out. Thanks, though. The University of Washington went to BYU because the Pac-12, in losing games because of COVID, has now approved their teams playing non-conference games. Okay. So the University of Washington went to BYU and said, hey, we would really like to play you guys this week. What do you think? Again, BYU on November 21st tweeted, anytime, any team, any place. Yeah, unless, of course, it's Washington this week. Absolutely bogus. BYU has said thanks, but no thanks. They want to wait and see where they stand in the college football playoff rankings this week. You know what, man? I'm going to tell you what. To hell with the college football playoff rankings. If you're going to sit there and pound your chest and say any team, any time, any place, if you're going to say that you deserve to be considered among college football's elite, if you're going to say you deserve a seat at the table, then you can't be afraid to go play the University of Washington on a short week. Get your ass on the plane and go play. What are you doing? Like, you're going to wait. And I tweet this out saying some guys like, well, it's not about being in the playoff. It's about the New Year's Six because they want to secure that payday. That doesn't make it any better. You're basically trying to backdoor your way into the big boy party. Go earn it. Go leave no doubt. Are we supposed to be super impressed because you put up 50 points against North Alabama? Come on, man. Like, there wasn't even a point spread on that game. The entire group of five could beat North Alabama. And I'm supposed to be impressed that you won that game? And now you have an opportunity at your feet. Here's an opportunity right at your feet. A willing Power 5 opponent to say, come on, we want you. Live up to your mantra. Any team, any place, any time. Oh, really? No, actually, we're good. We're going to sit this one out because, we got that perfect record right now after beating North Alabama. And I really just kind of like to sit it out, man, see what the committee thinks of us so far. Kick rocks, BYU. You're an absolute sham. You're a disgrace to every group of five, and I know you're independent, not necessarily a group of five. You're an absolute disgrace. You're an absolute disgrace. You don't deserve to be anywhere near this conversation. Take your record and stick it. Whatever game they want to put you in, the Birmingham Bowl or some nonsense like that, enjoy it. You don't deserve to have any part at all in the college football playoff or the New Year's Six. You had an opportunity to take on a big boy who's not even great. It's not like Alabama called and said, hey, come take your whipping. It's Washington. No thanks. No thanks, BYU. That right there is the single biggest problem that I have with all of the little guys demanding equitable opportunity at the big boy table. No thanks. You don't belong. You're proving here you don't belong. You don't deserve it, and you won't belong until you're willing to go stack up a schedule that looks like a Power 5 schedule. I'll never be okay with it. And you can say, well, and I get this all the time from the group of five apologists. Well, what if they beat Vanderbilt and Kansas? Would that matter? Well, how about you play 11 of those throughout the course of the season? Of course, every league has its layups. Am I impressed that LSU beat Vanderbilt? Hell no. But you know what else? They got to play Florida, and they got to play A&M, and they got to play Arkansas, and they got to go play Ole Miss, and they got to play Bama. Like, why is this difficult? Where is the disconnect here? I mean, wouldn't I be thrilled if this LSU team coming off a season where they lose 20 guys to the NFL and a couple of coordinators, if they got to play this murderer's row that BYU has aced? Navy, Troy, Tech, UTSA, Houston, Texas State, Western Kentucky, Boise State, North Alabama. Holy crap, build them a statue. Crown them, everybody. BYU beat a big, giant pile of garbage. Curb stomped a pile of garbage. And I'm supposed to be just thrilled and awed by what BYU has done. And they have not they have not played one Power 5 opponent. Not one. They have not played one Power 5 opponent, and you had one come knock on your door and say, we want to play you this week, and you go, oh, no, we're good. Hey, we're ranked 8th right now, and we think the committee might think favorably of us, so we're just going to sit this one out, bro, but thanks for the offer. What an absolute crock. Absolute crock. I never want to hear from any one of you ever again coming to me trying to argue why the group of 5 deserves a slot. You don't deserve a slot. Cincinnati, you don't deserve a slot. Coastal Carolina, you don't deserve a slot. Liberty lost this week. BYU, you don't deserve nothing either. How weak is that? Running scared, bro. Just running scared. Like, you and you have the audacity to be so bold to put on Twitter any team, anytime, any place. 2 days ago, you put that on Twitter. A Power 5 comes and knocks on your door 1 day later, and you say, oh, no, we're good. We're good. Not really on those terms. Absolutely bogus, man. Kick rocks, BYU. Kick rocks. Get lost. Disband your football program for all I care, but go exist in oblivion. Enjoy beating UTSA and Texas State. I don't give a crap about you, and I never want to hear from you again, BYU. You're dead to me. Dead to me. And good for Dabo for calling out Florida State for being a bunch of ninnies, too. Saw this weekend? How about Florida State? Clemson is in Tallahassee ready to play the game. And Florida State, their doctors won't allow it to go. And I know what you COVID crazies are thinking. Well, the doctors said they can't. The Clemson player was asymptomatic, had a false positive, tested negative 3 times subsequently, had been quarantined from the team, plane, bus, hotel, and Florida State said, no, we're not going to play the game. Scared, bro. Scared. Whatever, man. I got no time or tolerance for it. Used to be a proud football program in Tallahassee. Not no more, man. Not no more. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Hey, BYU, you know what? I can see how cowardly you are because I have 2015 vision courtesy of Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. I can see the fear in your body, BYU, thanks to Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEYE.com. Now through the end of the year, BOGO 50% off. Buy one, get one 50% off on all lenswear at Williamson Eye Center. If you want like those blue lenses for looking at screens, if you need prescription lenses, sunglasses, or contacts, it's all BOGO 50% off through the end of the year at Williamson Eye Center. Buy one pair, get a second 50% off. WilliamsonEYE.com, WilliamsonEYE.com, 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll grab our final break of the show, of the hour, excuse me, and grab our final break of the hour. We'll do Tigers and the Pros when we come back, and then Todd McClure, former LSU All-American, former Falcons center. He'll join us in 17 minutes from right now. He was in the Dome yesterday for Saints-Falcons. I want some thoughts on that, want some thoughts on the Tigers. We'll get to a lot with Todd McClure. Our good friend will join us in about 17 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Ichiban, Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Make tonight an Ichiban night. 2 locations, the best sushi in BR. Not me saying it, you saying it. Voted by you the best sushi and best hibachi in the Best of 225 awards. That is Ichiban. Find your favorite specialty roll. Remember, they have all-weather indoor and outdoor patio dining. So if you don't want to go dine indoors somewhere, you can still have authentic Japanese sushi at Ichiban dining outdoors. Or you can get it to go. It's magnificent. Place your order. Call it in. They'll have it ready to go. They'll even bring it out to your vehicle for you at Ichiban. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. And from our friends at Ichiban, introducing their newest concept Boru authentic Japanese ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. If you have not tried it yet, make a point to try Boru.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents.
Coming back.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are wrapping up hour number 2. Nothing like a little rant to get your blood flowing on Monday. Kick rocks, BYU. Friggin' losers. Sure, they're wonderful people. Actually, I can't confirm that. All right, Todd McClure in about 12 minutes from right now. He was in the Dome yesterday. I always love poking Todd whenever the Saints beat the Falcons, but he's going to be a good sport. I actually do want to talk to him a little bit about what he saw from the Saints defense. I want to talk to him about what he saw from Taysom Hill, and I do want to talk to Todd also about some LSU, man. What's going on defensively with LSU and how they improve on the offensive line, et cetera. So we'll get to all that with Todd McClure coming up here about 12 minutes from right now. Meantime, we do it every day to wrap up hour number 2. A Brain has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Okay, so before we start, we're in agreement. We can't do the cheer because of the latency, right?
Presented by KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com.
I hate leaving you on an island for that one, but it doesn't work out.
You totally left me hanging.
I don't
you know what,
I
by
don't
the
want
way?
to. I don't want to.
So, did you see earlier, I don't know if you're watching, but Drew walked into the office during the show. Did you see that by chance?
No, I did not.
Okay. Paul had to see it because he's video producing the show. Well, Drew has started doing the KYSBestHemp.com thing.
So bring him in.
So maybe that's what I was going to say. Maybe I could get him in here and do it. Perhaps. We'll try.
I like it.
Okay, go ahead, Brain. Tigers and the Pros, yes.
2 touchdowns yesterday for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, both on the ground as he had 14.
Helaire.
That's what I said, Helaire. As he had 14 carries. I finally got it right, and I'm going to brag on that for a minute. 14 carries for 69 yards. Clyde added 1 catch for 8 yards as well.
Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth keep screwing it up.
Well,
and you know what I did yesterday, Brain? I know this is kind of petty, but I don't care. Al Michaels is a veteran broadcaster, should know better. I physically went to the Chiefs media guide, went to the Clyde Edwards-Helaire page, and at the bottom it says, personal info, and it gives a pronunciation of his name. I screenshotted it and tweeted it at Sunday Night Football, and apparently they didn't pay attention to my tweet because they continued calling him Helaire all night long.
Okay, so what you need to do is go back and take some of Al Michaels' most famous calls and just mispronounce stuff in the middle of it. Do you believe in miracles?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
What else did he have? Give me another good one.
You know what? I'd have
Michaels
to look him up. I mean, do you believe in miracles?
You know what?
Is by far number one.
No, here you go. Listen, I'm at my house, obviously. I have one of the best books. Here it is. I'll show you. Paul, if you could. You can't make this up. Al Michaels' book, Miracles, Memories, and the Perfect Marriage of Sports and Television. This is really a fantastic book. And you know what I learned about Al Michaels? Did you know? Well, first of all, he's boys with O.J. Simpson. When the Bronco chase was going on, he's the one who tipped off ABC News that O.J. had like a back door to his house and got out. He wrote about that in the book. And then also, he was the play-by-play guy for the Big Red Machine in the 70s. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like Pete Rose and Johnny Bench and all those guys. Great stuff. Anyway, called Games in Hawaii, minor league baseball in Hawaii.
It's called
Great
Miracles,
book.
Magic, and Mispronunciations. Is that it?
Nailed it.
Justin Jefferson had just 3 catches yesterday. However, those 3 went for 89 yards, a touchdown, and a gritty. Deion Jones.
Yeah, so good.
By the way, that purple and gold looks smooth.
You mean the unis that the Vikings had on yesterday?
Yeah. Yep, I was digging it.
It's ugly. It's too much.
Oh.
The all purple with the gold. It's too much.
We're just on different pages here.
You're just wrong.
Deion Jones had 6 tackles yesterday, hit the quarterback twice, had a sack and a tackle for loss as well. In that same game, Russell Gage led the Falcons in receptions yesterday. Gage had 7 catches for 58 yards, and he, like every other Falcon, was held out of the end zone. By the way, on the other side of the ball, Quan Alexander had 3 tackles for the Saints.
Yeah, he did.
2 more to hit before we get out of here. Patrick Queen led the Ravens in tackles yesterday, 9 on the day. Queen got to the quarterback once as well. And sadly, ending on the sad note, Joe Burrow's rookie season is over. Torn ACL, among other injuries, as most of us already know, versus Washington. Burrow got hurt with about 11 minutes and change to go in the third quarter and was putting up a heck of a stat line for the day. At the time, he was 22 of 34 for 203 yards and a touchdown. His rookie season concludes with 2,688 yards, 13 passing TDs, 5 interceptions, and 3 rushing touchdowns for Joey B. And that's Tigers in the Pros.
He was going to break the record for 300-yard passing games by a rookie.
He was.
It's such a bummer. All right, presented by KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for the effort.
The thing is, I think to the audience it sounds right, but rolling back in your ear, it doesn't.
Oh, maybe so. Okay. Hey, Drew, come say. Let's see if we can get Drew in here. Kentucky's Best Hemp. Use the promo code AFR30 and save 30% off your order. Lots of different hemp products. They got gummies, and they got the capsules. They got the salve and the oil. It helps with inflammation. Helps you sleep at night. I take one of the CBD gummies every night before I go to bed. Helps you sleep at night. Helps with inflammation. Kentucky's best hemp. Hey, Drew, come see. Tigers in the Pros, presented by. Come see. Presented by. Yeah, you got it. KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. You got it, dude. High five. Hey, Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. Yep, they're just really rich now. That's true. He's
got to get that kid Mike. He nailed them both.
I know, he did. Good job, buddy. KYSBestHemp.com. He's actually hey, Drew, Monday's AFR presented by? Yep, Relief Windows. He mumbled it, but he's definitely my kid. He always plugs the sponsors. He knows that for sure. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. I am broadcasting from my home, but glad you're hanging out. We are live on YouTube on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Drew's hanging out in here for a little bit as well. Todd McClure is set to join us next. Former Tiger and Falcon offensive lineman. That's coming up in Hour 3 right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online, at theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com. If you want to feel and look your best, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. If it's hormone replacement therapy, maybe you wake up in the morning, you don't feel rested, or maybe you just don't feel motivated to get into the gym, or you do get into the gym and you just don't get results. It's harder to build muscle and burn fat. That's all a natural part of aging for every single human being. Our body creates less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. Well, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can safely and affordably supplement you to help you look and feel like your younger self. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at the Anti-Aging Clinic.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150 XLT. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
From the makers of Blue Moon comes Light Sky. An extraordinary citrus sweet brewed with real tangerine peel, only 95 calories. Welcome to the light side of the moon.
Our local nonprofits help build a thriving community for all, and now it's time for us to give back. So join us for 225 Gives on Giving Tuesday, December 1st, to build community and unite action. Learn more at 225gives.org.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off of MSRP.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Callahan Injury Lawyer.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Adam Schefter and Ben Baby report an MRI on Joe Burrow revealed the Bengals rookie quarterback has a torn ACL, MCL, and other structural damage in his left knee. Burrow's 2020 season is over, and that's a blessing in disguise for him, in the opinion of former NFL QB Carson Palmer.
They're a 2-win team. They're not going to the playoffs. They're not winning the Super Bowl this year. Joe was getting the absolute lung beat out of him every week. He was just getting hammered up and down the field. Now he has some time to let his body heal up, get his knee right.
Carson Palmer with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. Coach Zach Taylor said Burrow will have season-ending surgery, and they expect him to be ready for the 2021 season. Vikings receiver Adam Thielen on the COVID-19 reserve list. He leads the NFL with 11 TD catches. ESPN's Chris Mortensen reporting there's no change to the status of Thursday night Steelers-Ravens game after Baltimore had multiple positive coronavirus tests in the organization, including running backs Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins. NBA Wizards GM Tommy Shepard says there's no plan to trade John Wall, and the point guard has not requested a trade out of D.C.
We're back on Tuesday, reacting to the Buccaneers and the Rams on Monday night. So where will the winner be in my real rankings? And what about the loser? Will they miss the playoffs? Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin, Tuesday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt Brain, Paul O'Neill, all back in studio. Glad you are hanging out with us here. It's 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. A lot to get to. A great weekend. LSU beats Arkansas. The Saints get a dominating win over the Falcons. And our good friend, former LSU All-American and former Falcons great Todd McClure happened to be there in the Dome yesterday. He's good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Todd, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing well, man. What did you think about Roddy White's tweet and Sean Payton's subsequent trolling of Roddy White?
I thought it was great, man. Roddy, I think, as all ex-Falcons, we're looking for any type of positive play this year. Anything to happen, I think Roddy was trying to get on that bandwagon, and I thought it was great that Sean Payton kind of responded back to it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Do you like – because I've often said, Todd, that I want pro sports to more likely resemble – MMA or boxing or wrestling. Like, I want taunting and trolling, and like, I want all that, man. That's so much more interesting. Like, as a player, are you okay with that? Like, in the locker room when you have that sort of stuff?
No, I think it just adds to the excitement, man. It's what we miss. It's what I miss with this virus and everything going around, not being able to talk a little bit of trash about the team that you love. And I think that's part of it that, the media likes to hear also. It makes for a good story.
Hell yeah. What do you think I'm in? Why do you think I'm in for it, man? It's so much more interesting.
Right.
Hey, Hey, so you were in the Dome yesterday. I got to get some thoughts on this game, man, because I didn't. The Saints defense has been fantastic, man, but they have just been overwhelming. Like, when you're watching them play right now, like, what are you seeing from the Saints, and what did you see yesterday that just worked so well defensively?
I think that it's one of the best Saints defense that I've seen in a long time, and I think it's a combination of things. Matt Ryan's a quarterback. He's a good quarterback in the NFL. He did not have time to sit in the pocket and get the ball out. The coverage was good. The pressure was there. Kudos to the Saints defense, because that environment, Matt, it was unlike anything I'd ever watched a game in. First time I've been to a professional game during this virus and during all this going on, and there's no energy that comes out of any stadium. And for those guys to play at the level that they played at and to keep doing it, it was pretty impressive to watch.
Man, so that's really interesting, man. Do you think that I guess I'm curious, man, because I didn't think about that. But so often you hear players say you're able to compartmentalize, like you go into a zone when the ball is kicked off, when the game starts, and sometimes you don't even notice the fans. But like, would you find it hard to play in this environment?
Absolutely. I think, being a true professional, you find a way to make it happen. But even college football, and especially college football right now, taking the crowd noise and that factor out the game takes away from the game itself. And I truly feel bad, and I told somebody this when we were sitting in the suite the other day watching that game last night. I would hate to be an NFL player and this be my last year to go out with this type of environment in those stadiums, because it's not what you grow up watching. It's not what you dream about, playing in stadiums with, the crowd noise. That's what makes the game. And for guys that this is going to be their last year, 2020, to go out like this, I think it's terrible.
Played in 198 NFL games. Todd McClure's, I guess, former LSU All-American. I want to talk some LSU also, but I got to get a thought on what you saw from Taysom Hill.
He's a guy that just adds a different dimension. I don't think, and it's just my opinion, Matt, I don't think he's a guy that can be your every down quarterback for 16 games in the NFL season. The guy plays so hard, he runs so hard, he's going to take some shots, but that's the way he plays the game. And I'm just not quite sure that he can do it throwing the ball. At the elite level, you look at Drew Brees and what he's done for years, it's going to be hard for whoever the next guy is to live up to that. But I just don't know deep down if Taysom Hill's the guy that you want to have penciled in as your starter for 16 games in an NFL season. And that's just my opinion.
Todd, look, man, I'm taking a lot of heat today because I've said the same thing. So did many people, obviously. And I don't think one game obviously proves or disproves anything. But if you would, could you elaborate a little bit on that, on why you think it might be difficult for Taysom to be an every down player in the NFL?
The way he runs the ball and the packages that are designed for him to be successful, he's going to take some shots. And that's a long season. That's some big physical guys that line up on the other side of the ball. And I think you see it happen all the time when defensive coordinators and defenses have time to look at tendencies that a guy has. They're not quite as successful down the road. And the guys that are successful, the guys that are Hall of Famers, are, you look back and they were really good players in the NFL. And I could be wrong. You look at a guy, and I hate to compare him to this, like Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, to me, was a system-type guy. He could only be in certain systems, and he didn't last very long. Taysom Hill's a guy, and I look at Taysom Hill and I say, man, this is one of the best athletes, pure athletes, to ever come through the NFL, and I truly mean that. But I just don't think it's going to be at the quarterback position for him.
Todd McClure is with us here for a couple of more minutes. Hey, let me switch gears. I want to get some thoughts on LSU and what you're seeing from this team right now, man. There's no shortage of opinions from current players and from former players as well in media about some of the struggles they've had early. When you look at this team, and I ask you just big picture with some of the struggles they've had, like, what are you seeing?
The first thing that jumps out to me, and I'm going to give you three names, Matt: Devin White, Debo Jones, and Patrick Queen. Those guys were players at linebacker that they would cover up mistakes, whether it be up front or, at that second level. But we don't have one of those players right now to cover up when a guy misfits a gap. And, you know, we don't have that leader over there. And I think that's what jumps out. You know, you lose so many guys, and, you know, and I felt like going into the season, anything that happened this year, we were going to compare it to last year, you know, and I think it's been a letdown. You take out the crowd noise from Tiger Stadium. That's a factor in it too. But I think the biggest thing is that middle linebacker that can cover up for a lot of mistakes.
It's really interesting, man, because most people certainly I'm with you that they've been deficient at linebacker, but when you see all the issues in the secondary, I think that's probably where most people start. Do you see Bo Pelini having the opportunity to fix this? Like, is it repairable?
Right now, you know, not at this point in the season. Now, they may have time down the road, but I still think the old saying, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes, not about the X's and O's. You got to have the guys that can play that. And, you know, we lost a lot of guys last year. For me to comment and say, can Bo Pelini fix it, I don't think it'd be fair because I don't know enough about Bo Pelini and his scheme.
That makes sense. A couple more minutes here. Todd McClure is our guest, former LSU All-American. Let me ask you about a position you do know. Liam Shanahan at center. Ed Orgeron said they'd like to have him back for another year, you know, because this year doesn't count against anybody's eligibility. What have been your impressions of him transitioning to that position from the Ivy League into the SEC?
Yeah, I thought he's done a decent job. And he's a guy that, you know, I've watched, and I felt like he's done a decent job there. And like Coach O said, love to have him back. When you can have a center come back for multiple years, he's going to be an even better player than he was this year if the Tigers can have him come back.
Yeah. One more for you, man. What about TJ Finley? What stood out about the freshman quarterback stepping in for Miles Brennan?
You know, the arm. And I think he's a guy, you know, as a true freshman, that if you give him 2 more years, he reminds me a lot of a guy that I play with, a guy that's on with you a lot, of Rohan Davey. And I'm sure he gets some comparisons there. Got a strong arm. I don't think he's been rattled much. I think his decision-making can be better at times. But I think he has some potential to be a good quarterback here at LSU.
Tom McClure, hey man, fill people in on what you got going on, man. I mean, I know you've got your hands in a lot of pots and you got a lot of business ventures. Fill people in, man. What you up to?
Man, every day for me, Matt. I've started out as a hobby for me. I raised bucking bulls, which is kind of like racehorses. You know, it's all about genetics, and I love the breeding side of it. And it's something that's a passion of mine. And then also dealing with antique woods, 6M antique woods. We started out as a hobby. Now we're selling floors and beams and old rustic material, tables, you name it, all over the state, and even going into Texas and Mississippi some. So when you're passionate about something and you put the work in, you know, good things happen, and we've met good people along the way.
6M Antique Woods. If people want to contact, I see you got your Facebook page. Do you have a website, or is there another way people can contact if they want to see your stuff? Or
we do have a website. It's www.6mranchandantiquewoods.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We even got us a little TikTok going. I see people going to TikTok. Check us out, you know.
I love it, dude. Hey, if you need help with TikTok, holla at your boy, man. I've been on TikTok for a long time. I'm in that game, man. You know I'll help you out.
I'm following you, man. I need a follow back. Man. I need a follow back. So.
All right, you got it. Y'all check out 6M Ranch and AntiqueWoods.com. I'm looking at the Facebook page right here. The numeral 6, the letter M, 6M Antique Woods on Facebook. I'll make sure I like there as well. Y'all give Todd a shout, man. You need some antique wood, beams, doors. Awesome stuff, man. It's beautiful work. Hey, man, it's great to catch up as always, man. I appreciate a couple of minutes, all right?
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it, buddy.
Be well. That is Todd McClure, former LSU All-American. I know I've told this before, but I had the pleasure, and it was my pleasure, to sit next to Todd. When Todd was doing post-game with Hanny, I sat next to Todd in the press box. So that was either 2 or 3 seasons, I don't remember. But I'm telling you, when you're watching a game with someone who played 198 NFL games, right? Was an All-American in college and played 198 NFL games with 195 starts. That dude just sees the game differently than you and I do. And so, like, I probably bugged the hell out of him. But Todd's the nicest guy in the world, man. But I would always just sit there and would ask him questions like, what did you see? Why did they do that? Where did he cry? Where was the blood? And it just, you just learn so much by having, I was just basically trying to get him to externally process, right? To speak out loud what he was watching during the game. It just, dude, great guy. It's easy to see why he was so successful for as long as he was in the NFL. And I do love to give him hell about the Falcons. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River Cities 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001. 752-0001. Call them right now, 752-0001, because they're open. Nights, holidays, weekends are always working. If your AC or your heater goes out on Thanksgiving, no worries. Call River Cities 1 Hour Air. They're always working. Nights, holidays, weekends, and they never charge you extra to come out on nights, holidays, or weekends. But right now, what I got to hammer home is the preseason heater safety check. Call River Cities 1 Hour Air, preseason heater safety check, just $97. They'll come to your house. They'll make sure your heater is clean, it's efficient, and most importantly, that it's running safely. Protect your home, protect your family. River Cities 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. For River Cities 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It's been a really good Monday show. If you missed Brandon Seho from WLWT Television in Cincinnati, Scott Shanley, Todd McClure, my takes on the LSU win over Arkansas, the Saints win over Atlanta, all on demand. AFR on demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time today. Weather's gorgeous, man. Go play some golf. Golf.breck.org. Golf.breck.org. Book your tee time today. Golf.breck.org. After every Saints game, Drew Brees does an interview on CST with Mike Neighbors. And that was no different yesterday, even though Brees did not play. And Brees did the interview, I would assume it was via Zoom from his home, actually. And they talked about a lot. I tweeted out the link earlier today. I retweeted it. You can go to the CST page or Mike Neighbors on Twitter, and you can see it. But Brees was candid, as he always is, and talked about Taysom and about his injury. First, can we play number 3, please, Brain? This was Drew Brees talking about his injury.
Yeah, the toughest part about it is when you feel like, your body just shuts down on you, which is basically what happened. When you have broken ribs on both sides and then obviously the collapsed lung. It wasn't that I felt like, man, I'm pushing through, and yet my body just completely locked up on me. I couldn't rotate. I couldn't throw. And so for that to happen during the course of the game, you just, man, it was so upsetting, obviously so depressing. I wanted to be there for my team. But I also knew that, man, this is my body telling me that, man, you need to heal, and obviously that's the case with the ribs and with the lung, but things are progressing. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm honestly just taking it one day at a time. Obviously I have a great medical team that I'm getting great advice from. And so there is the healing process that needs to take place, but man, my mentality is to push it as much as we can.
I think everyone expects nothing less from Drew Brees, that he's going to push and try to be back as soon as he can. He did that a year ago with the thumb injury. But Mike Neighbors also asked Drew, and this is 5, Brain, if we could. He asked him, how do you even play with broken ribs?
You just go to another place, and you just have such a singular focus, and that is, man, how can I be out here to represent my team, to be here for my teammates? And again, I've never been in a situation where all of a sudden my body just shuts down on me like that. Listen, everybody who's played football, first off, the injury rate's 100%, right? Right. Everybody's battling with things on a weekly basis, right? And so everyone's pushing through, and that's just part of the game. But at the end of the day, I love my team and I want to be there for them.
That answer when he said, I've never had my body just shut down like that, was the most pointed part of this interview. Now, there's also a part where he says, he's his kids can't jump on him, but he can still play with him and paint fingernails, things like that. You can tell he's still being dad and in great spirits. But to hear Drew Brees say, I've never had my body just shut down on me like that, was stark, and you realize it, for me anyway, it was very poignant thinking about what these guys put themselves through. Now, a 7, please, Brain. Mike Neighbors also asked Drew about a timetable for the return. In particular, the team's success. Meaning, if they keep winning, are you more likely to just give yourself more time?
I am going to get back as soon as I can, as soon as I'm healthy. And, my body's ready. The thing with this, I guess, similar to the thumb, from last year, is that there's just a healing process that needs to take place. Now, in this case, you're talking about lungs, you're talking about ribs, right? And so those are all that is vital to the throwing motion. And the last thing I want to do is go out there at 70% with a higher risk of re-injury to something like that all of a sudden puts me out for a really extended period of time. Or you're talking about your organs then at that point, so it's just like I'm wanting to be very cautious, but very optimistic and aggressive, just in my mindset of, man, pressing it every day, sense of urgency. There's definitely a sense of urgency to get back.
Drew Brees, again, his post-game interview with Mike Neighbors on CST, and it was a really interesting conversation. Hear Drew talk about the injury, how he felt, his body locking up, but also his timetable to push it to get back as soon as he can. Talking about a man with 11 broken ribs and a collapsed lung, but he's pushing to be back. Saints did place Brees on IR, which means he'll miss at least 3 weeks. Of course, this was week 1, so that means he'll miss this week against Denver and next week at Atlanta in the return trip. But the earliest Brees could return would be the trip to Philadelphia, which means he would be on the shelf for 28 days effectively from game to game if he returned then. But even that seems a bit optimistic. Time will tell. In the meantime, of course, Taysom Hill is going to be the guy, as we talked about and as we saw yesterday. And Brees did the first one here, Brandon, if we could. Mike Neighbors asked Drew his impressions, watching Taysom Hill get out there for his first start.
Listen, I thought he played great. I thought he managed everything about this week, about the preparation, and then obviously just the way he played today. I thought it was magnificent. Obviously we know the role that Taysom has played up to this point. As a guy who comes in as a physical runner, obviously he has caught a bunch of passes. He's blocked for a bunch of guys. He's done so many things, and yet I felt like today was an opportunity for him to showcase so many of his other talents. And his ability to play the quarterback position all the way around. I felt like he was great in and out of the huddle, great with the tempo, made some really nice throws down the field, avoiding pressure, some great scrambles. And just, all in all, I felt like our offense had great tempo and great rhythm. And obviously that starts at the quarterback position.
Drew Brees, again, his post-game interview with Mike Neighbors on CST on Sunday. If you didn't catch it then, you could catch it on the CST YouTube channel. It's up there. I think Mike tweeted it out as well if you want to go catch that interview. Really good, about 8-9-minute conversation with Drew Brees about the day yesterday, his injury, and his recovery. Listen, I said it last week, and I'll continue to reiterate, if this team is going to win a championship, I've said this all season, it's been my position, I think most agree, this season for New Orleans is 100% about winning a Super Bowl. Nothing shorter or longer term than that. It's this season is Super Bowl or bust. Drew Brees said that. Cam Jordan has said that. Like, the players on this team have openly said this season is Super Bowl or bust. That is the only thing on the line. They've got to be all in for it. And I don't believe this team is winning a Super Bowl without Drew Brees, and I also don't think that that's a really bold statement. So they need to get Drew Brees back, and what they need is for Taysom Hill in the interim to keep the train on the tracks the same way that Teddy Bridgewater did a year ago and going 5-0. I thought Taysom Hill yesterday, and we opened the show with this today. If you missed my full thoughts on it, you can go catch it on demand on the After Further Review YouTube channel. But I thought Taysom Hill did a lot of good things, like Drew Brees talked about. Taysom Hill gave himself a B. I think he said maybe B minus, and I think it's fair. I think there was a lot of good. The tempo, the composure, the presence in the huddle, all of that was there. Accuracy on short stuff was pretty good. The deep ball he threw was not good. He almost threw a pick, got away with one down near the goal line. They did convert a field goal. He had a couple of fumbles in the game, one lost fumble on his longest run. But we knew Taysom Hill could run the ball. that's not the question. The question is, can he continue to expand his functionality within that offense for over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, for however long that Drew Brees is out, so the Saints can keep winning. The great news is that the Saints have a very manageable schedule. The only team they play the rest of the way that has a winning record is Kansas City, and you get that game in the Dome. So, I mean, can you go out and beat Denver and beat Atlanta and beat Philly? Then you play the Chiefs and you got the Vikings and Panthers. Like, it's a favorable schedule the rest of the way. Keep the train on the tracks. Keep yourself positioned for the 1 seed for when Brees comes back. Then go make your run. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. We'll knock out a quick break. Come back. If you want to work in a call, text, email, or tweet, here's a good shot to do it. We'll let you hear some more of what Ed Ogeron had to say today as the Tigers are getting ready to go to College Station this weekend. And also, a former Saint appears to be nearing the end of his NFL career. We'll talk about that a bit next. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you're looking for dinner plans tonight, Pluckers is always a great option. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Tonight and every night is always a great chance to get by Pluckers, but especially tonight because it's Monday Night Football, and you better believe, if you're a Saints fan, you got a keen eye on this one. Rams at Bucks. Of course, we need Tampa to lose, so if you want to go pull against the Bucks, get them by Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Remember, tonight and every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. So pay one low price and eat as many wings as you can all night long. It is a great night to get by Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, Monday Night Football, and all your sports on TV. What else could you want? It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Wolves.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Rolling through on a Monday edition of AFR. What a day by Zach Von Rosenberg on Saturday. Kept booming 50-yard punts, 5 of them inside the 20-yard line. Now, unfortunately, a couple of them went inside the 10, and then Arkansas went up top for 50-yard passes, a 65 and a 51-yarder, after Von Rosenberg had pinned him inside the 10. But still, Zach Von Rosenberg continues to impress and continues to be one of the super amazing stories on this team. And special teams was a giant part of LSU's win, of course, not only with Von Rosenberg's punts, but Cade York continuing to be nails, but also Arkansas having a field goal blocked at the gun. And I'll tell you, I'll tip our cap to John Neighbors, who saw 103.7 The Buzz up there in Little Rock. He joined us on Friday, and I asked John point blank about Arkansas special teams, and his quote on AFR on Friday was, if Arkansas lines up for a game-winning kick, I'm headed for the gates because that kick's not going in. And sure enough, he nailed it. Special teams has been a problem for Arkansas. Ended up being the thing that swung it to LSU on Saturday. So Tigers get a win on Saturday on the road in Arkansas. Now they head to College Station against Texas A&M, an A&M squad that's been off for a couple of weeks. But Tigers will get ready for what will be the first real opposing crowd that they'll face. Is A&M will have a larger capacity than any other in the SEC, and TJ Finley will have to go into a raucous road environment this weekend. As Ed Ogeron has ruled Miles Brennan already out, and Finley will be your starter again this week. I wanted to get to this while I had a minute here, and Jimmy Ott will be with us here in about 10 minutes for Otter Locks, and we'll do what we learned. The Ravens are sort of phasing out Mark Ingram. And for some, this may be a out of sight, out of mind type topic, but there is a locally relevant point, aside from the fact that Ingram just played for the Saints. But next month, Ingram will turn 31. And in the loss to the Titans on Sunday, Mark Ingram had just 2 carries for 2 yards. And it was the first game that Ingram has played for the Ravens where he was not the starter. The Ravens started J.K. Dobbins, the rookie out of Ohio State, who had 15 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown. So Ingram missed 2 games with an ankle injury that he suffered in Week 6, and since coming back, he's got just 7 carries for 7 yards in 2 games. 30-year-old running back. We just see this so often. What's interesting, though, is the Ravens, a year ago, signed Mark Ingram to a 3-year, $15 million contract. And many around Baltimore think it's hard to believe that he'll be back next year. He's owed a $5 million salary, so it's very likely the Ravens move on and J.K. Dobbins becomes their every-down running back, if he isn't already. But I saw this today, and I couldn't help but think, of course, the Saints tried to re-sign Ingram last year. And had Ingram known the contract he was going to get on the open market and he thought he would command more value than he did, if Ingram had known that, he very likely would have been back in New Orleans. But I couldn't help but remember, this has often been a mantra of Sean Payton's. And he got it from Bill Parcells, but we've seen this time and again with Sean and with the Saints in the Payton era. His mantra is always, you'd rather get rid of a player a year too soon than a year too late. And maybe Ingram a year ago would have been better than Latavius Murray. Maybe. It's debatable. Not this year. And it's unlikely it would be next year. We saw the Saints go through this with Darren Sproles when they traded him to the Eagles. Now, that was probably a miss. I think Sproles still had more in the tank than the Saints thought, as he showed during his time in Philly. But Sean Payton has been true to this idea and this belief during his time. He'd rather get rid of a guy a year too soon than a year too late. And we're seeing it again here with this instance with Mark Ingram. And looks like his time in Baltimore is coming to an end, and quite possibly his career after this season or maybe the next. But Mark Ingram at 30 years old, as we see so often with running backs, they just hit this proverbial wall. They fall off the imaginary cliff, which is why when you see someone like Frank Gore continue to be productive into his late 30s, it's stunning, but it's such an outlier because Mark Ingram really is the rule, not the exception. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you, ShawBillsTire.com. Need an oil change? Shaw Bills. Tire rotation? Shaw Bills. Check engine lights on? Shaw Bills. Or if you're buying tires, listen, Thanksgiving's here. If you're hitting the road to go be with family for this Thanksgiving, make sure you check those tires. Make sure your tire pressure's good. If they're a little bald, maybe you need new tires, now's the time. Shaw Bills. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. It's Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, Jimmy Ott's coming up here in just a quick second. Ed Ogeron met with the media earlier today, and he did update a couple of other things, which we've started to notice a little bit happening with LSU. One of them being at linebacker, and Todd McClure mentioned this when he was with us earlier this hour. I asked him point blank, what's the biggest difference he notices right now at the LSU defense? And he gave us three names. He said, Devin White, Debo Jones, Patrick Queen. He said LSU doesn't have that inside linebacker right now that erases so much where there's gap misses and things like that, when you miss fits and things like that. Ed Ogeron was asked about Micah Baskerville. This is 6, Brandon, if you could. Ed Ogeron was asked about Baskerville, who has started the past couple of games over Damone Clark, who, of course, before the season got the 18 jersey. But we've seen Baskerville really elevate his game in this time.
Yeah, he's able to key and diagnose. Michael was the 5A player of the year at Evangel High School. That's why I recruited him. An excellent player in high school. When he first came here, was having a good year. As a freshman, showed us that he can key and diagnose. He fits in well in Coach Pelini's scheme. He gets to the football. He's a tremendous young man.
Baskerville's been a big part of trying to steady this defense, and that's something else Ogeron talked about today. He played 14, Brain. Ogeron was asked if the time off has allowed them to sort of steady this defense. Obviously, there's still a lot of room for improvement, but have they steadied things?
Yeah, all I'm pleased is the way we played for most of the game against Arkansas. I thought that we had our cleats in the grass. We had a great plan for the hurry-up offense, but still not pleased with the deep balls, still not pleased with the rub routes, still not pleased with the explosive plays, and definitely not pleased by the way we played most of the season. Now, we need to improve to be a championship defense, and everybody knows that.
Ed Ogeron earlier today, meeting with the media, need to improve to be a championship defense. It's clear this team isn't going to be in the running for any championships, but as we've talked about, over this final 4-game stretch, or 5 if you want to include Arkansas, over this final stretch, what you'd like to see is an improving defense and certainly a team that looks more like it's bought in and can be competitive down the stretch. And boy, I'd love to see LSU for one day put together their best game against A&M, Florida, Bama, one of those teams, and find a way to win one of those games and feel like you have that sort of marquee cornerstone win for this team. Hopefully they can get it. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy Ott will join us. We'll do Otter Locks. We'll do What We Learned. Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Glad you're hanging out. One segment to go. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, where you can learn about the Baton Rouge General Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, which is now open. Right there on Highway 73, if you're coming up from Airline on 73 toward I-10, you can enter from your right. You can actually see the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital from I-10. So if you exit 73, it'll be there on your left. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital, of course, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital. Their primary campus there at Bluebonnet, the Mid-City location where they've reopened the emergency room. brgeneral.org to learn more about all the different services that they offer, the way that they're advancing healthcare in Baton Rouge. brgeneral.org. COVID care, of course, virtual visits are available, elective surgeries, childbirth. It's all there for you at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Otter Locks.
All right, let's do it as we wrap up a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. We welcome aboard the Oddfather. Hey, man, thanks for pinch hitting on Whiskey and Wine the other day.
Oh, man, that was fun. That was fun, man. Don Juan's people are really hospitable, man. It's a good cigar, good drink. It was fun. That was a good time, man.
Where are you tonight?
Historic Natchez in an antebellum building. Here turned into a bar restaurant. I'm at the Mahogany Bar that was built in 1880. It's called 100 Main, man. Holiday season, a lot of things along the river here. A lot of activity are decorated, and so we're excited. Big show tonight. We're going to, of course, recap the weekend. Barstool Mincy's on at 6:30. We'll also talk with Dr. Chip Bankston. I know you've had him on before, too. And
Yep.
Dr. Chip Bankston performed a multiple ligament repair on me. So we will compare. This is. I've had an ACL repair, and I've had an ACL, MCL, LCL repair. It's a different ball game, Matt.
Hey,
and so
Otter,
yeah.
That's when you know it's time to hang it up, man.
And
when you're tearing multiple ligaments, that's when you got to be done, man. Because you know why? Because I don't want to be driving your crutched behind to SEC media days every year because you can't drive because you're wobbling around on crutches.
I have not picked up a tennis racket since, sir. So yes, I have hung them up. But you know what? Hey, look. Here's the opinions are like, man, why are they taking so many hits on Burrow? Burrow led the league in hits he took. He led the league in sacks, and he also, you know what they led the league in? Straight dropbacks. I mean, you could kind of see a little bit coming. You didn't know to this extent. But every game we're sitting there like, just get through this. Get through this. Let's get some help. Let's get some help. And, man, you want to talk about – he's not going to get it anymore. He's done for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But guess what? If you watch that game after, that offense was shut down. They could not do anything after that, maybe 10 yards the rest of the way. And they were winning the game when he left. It's I don't know. It kind of aggravated me because it's just you can only take so many. Every hit you take, it's a little bit risky. So, hey,
Otter, what does that do? Speaking of which, for the Rookie of the Year odds, obviously I think this means Justin Herbert goes to the top. But what kind of payout is that going to mean for the books? I'd imagine most money was probably on Burrow.
It was right around even money entering this weekend's action. So Herbert and Burrow were neck and neck. Basically even money. The third choice going into this week was Tua at 10-1. So unless Jefferson can really keep going, he's already ahead of Randy Moss's rookie base. He's third. He'll move into third choice now. Tua will be knocked down a little bit. So, but Burrow was probably going to win, and he was kind of pulling away from Herbert because he was behind Herbert for a while. But no, he's not going to get it now. He's not going to get it now.
All right, what we got for tonight, man? We got the Rams at the Bucks. What are we looking at?
Love this spot. There is a clear difference between Rams when they go against teams that are able to pressure the quarterback and when they're not. Throw in Andrew Whitworth. He is now out, starting left tackle. And, McVay does a good job knowing that with Goff, and he tries to move them and rollouts and things like this. But the Bucs defensive front is very good, and they're going to put a lot of pressure, especially without Whitworth. Throwing the fact that the last two primetime games have been complete duds for the Bucs. So a little pride on the line as well. Talking about the Giants, that was a dud. The Saints, they got killed. So I really do like this matchup for the Bucs laying the 4 against the Rams at home tonight.
Jimmy Ott Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us here in Baton Rouge on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, of course, you can listen online at 1045ESPN.com or watch on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Or I'm sorry, on the on the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. All right, Otter, enjoy the night up there in Mississippi, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Matthew. Have a good night.
All right, man. Appreciate Jimmy who filled in for us on Whiskey and Wine. Thanks to Jordy and Rohan as well, holding it down. Hopefully by the end of this week, maybe Friday after Thanksgiving, we'll be back in studio. So hoping for that. But appreciate everybody who's made the home remote shows go off without a hitch. So appreciate all you for listening and for watching as well. All right, we always wrap up with a little what we learned. Brain, what did you learn today?
LSU is a 2-touchdown underdog.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Were you surprised by that?
Yes and no. It not surprised, but it still stings when you first hear it.
I guess. I mean, wait until you see what the line's going to be when they play Bama. I mean, if that stings, if the 2-touchdown against A&M stings, I mean, it's the LSU defense that just they can't stop anybody. And you're going. I was doing some statistical analysis today with LSU and A&M, and both teams offensively are almost neck and neck. Like in every offensive statistical category, it's like 3-4, 4-5, 1-2. I mean, they're right there. Defensively, it's where it's a whitewash. I mean, A&M's got the statistically best defense in the SEC, and LSU's is abysmal, and they can't stop giving up big plays. And you have a veteran quarterback, and you're going on the road, and there's going to be a crowd. And I hope Finley's more poised than he was with the 3 turnover performance against Auburn on the road, his first road start. I think he was obviously better against Arkansas. This is a much bigger challenge going on the road in College Station than they did against Arkansas, but we shall see. Paulie, what did you learn today?
I learned that Todd McClure is on TikTok.
Paul, damn it, you took mine. Not only is he on TikTok, Todd McClure has 60,000 followers on TikTok. Like, here I am going, hey, Todd, let me know. I'd love to give you some help with TikTok, whatever. I'm game. I checked out his TikTok. He's got 60,000 followers. And I asked him, I texted him like, hey, man, who's running your TikTok? Because Todd doesn't do Twitter. Todd's not the social media guy. And he's like, me, man, I do it. He's like, I love that stuff. I'm telling you, for all of you out there who just thinking TikTok is for nothing but, the younger demo that's just doing dances, I'm telling you, man, it is a full-fledged content platform. Go follow athletes or business people or Todd McClure at 6M, and he's got this video of some guy running around after a bull. It's crazy the stuff he's got on there, but looks pretty good though. So,
what'd you learn today, Matt?
Well, I learned that Todd McClure is on TikTok, but I also learned that my son knows all the school's mascots in the SEC. When Drew walked in here earlier, he walked in and he said the Missouri Tigers, and I was like, oh, no kidding. I guess he's listening to Around the SEC, and he pays attention every day, so that's interesting. Appreciate y'all for being here. Brain, Paulie, thanks so much. Appreciate Brandon Holly and all the great people at Relief Windows for being our Monday sponsor here on AFR, a home edition of AFR. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll look for you then. Until then, see ya.
AFR.
And as we get on down the road, we remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Tell you about them every day, and I'm thrilled to tell you about Relief Windows every day because the job Brandon Holly and his staff do is impeccable, and they treat people right. I know whenever I call Relief Windows, if my family calls Relief Windows, if you call Relief Windows, they're going to treat you right. That's just what Brandon Holly has always said. The business, it is his name is his legacy, and he wants people to know that they're treated fairly. So he often says to me, I kind of like it when people complain because that's when we get to show who we are. Who says that? Well, Brandon Holly does at Relief Windows. So if you need windows, doors, or siding, you might pay a little more up front, but lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Pay once, you're done forever, and they'll treat you great. Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Relief.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150 XLT. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots